Hi, welcome to my presentation on babbling and bias, how infant language exposure shapes face recognition. In the first year of life, infants undergo a process called perceptual narrowing. Their ability to discriminate faces within their own race is maintained, while their ability to distinguish faces from other racial groups declines. By 9 months old, infants start to exhibit the other race effect, also known as ORE, which is struggling to tell apart faces from races different than their own. But research shows that the ORE is not fixed. Studies have found that infants can overcome perceptual narrowing for faces in various ways between 9 and 12 months old, such as increasing familiarization time, adding emotional expressions to faces, directing infants' attention to other race faces, and using audio-visual rather than just visual familiarization. These can all help restore infants' ability to discriminate other race faces. Building on this, Olivia Clerk and colleagues investigated whether language familiarity could also modulate the ORE in infants. The researchers tested 9 and 12-month-old Caucasian infants using a visual paired comparison procedure. During a familiarization phase, infants were shown a photograph of an Asian face while listening to a 30-second audio clip of a story told by a bilingual speaker in either their native language of French or non-native language of German. In the recognition test, the familiar face was presented side by side with a new Asian face, and infants' looking times were measured. A preference for the new face, indicated by a looking time significantly above chance level, was considered evidence of successful recognition of the familiarized face. Interestingly, both 9 and 12-month-olds exhibited recognition memory for the other race face when familiarized with non-native speech, but not with their native speech. The researchers interpret this as indicative of infants having early expectations about the racial characteristics associated with a language. These findings build upon prior research showing infants link familiar languages with own race faces and unfamiliar languages with other race faces. The fact that a non native language actually facilitated recognition of other race faces rather than hindering it sheds new light on the perceptual narrowing process. The authors propose that when an other race face is paired with an unfamiliar language, it aligns with infants' expectations and allows them to process the face at an individual level. In contrast, hearing their native language paired with an other race face may be perceived as a mismatch that disrupts learning. The fact that other race recognition was restored with unfamiliar speech also challenges notions of the ORE's rigidity, adding to evidence that perceptual narrowing is not necessarily permanent. With the right inputs, it seems that infants can regain cross race recognition capacities. Promoting exposure to a diversity of faces and languages in educational settings and parenting practices could potentially help maintain these capacities, laying a foundation for more inclusive social interactions. Through exploring the face language link and its role in the ORE's mitigation, this line of research may inform strategies to reduce racial biases from a young age. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.